Welcome to Sing Classes. Today we are exploring the anatomy and function of the human heart.
Let's dive into the details of this incredible muscular pumping organ. Location of the heart. It is located in the chest cavity, thoracic cavity, between the two lungs, slightly tilted towards the left side, protected by the rib cage. Size and shape. About the size of a closed fist, weighs about 250-350 grams. Cone-shaped organ structure of heart involves right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. Pulmonary valve, tricuspid valve, pulmonary artery, pulmonary veins, aorta, bicuspid valve, aortic valves, parts of human heart. The right atrium and left atrium are the two upper chambers of the human heart. The right atrium receives deoxygenated, impure blood from different parts of the body through the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. This blood is then passed to the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve, which prevents the backflow of blood. On the other hand, the left atrium receives oxygenated, pure blood from the lungs through the pulmonary veins. It sends this oxygen-rich blood to the left ventricle through the bicuspid mitral valve, which also prevents backflow. Thus, the right atrium collects impure blood from the body, while the left atrium collects pure blood from the lungs. The right ventricle and left ventricle are the two lower chambers of the human heart. The right ventricle receives deoxygenated, impure blood from the right atrium and pumps it to the lungs through the pulmonary artery for oxygenation. The wall of the right ventricle is moderately thick because it only needs to pump blood to the nearby lungs. The left ventricle, on the other hand, receives oxygenated, pure blood from the left atrium and pumps it to all parts of the body through the aorta. Since it has to pump blood to the entire body, its muscular wall is much thicker and stronger than that of the right ventricle. Thus, the right ventricle sends impure blood to the lungs, while the left ventricle sends pure blood to the whole body. The septum is a thick muscular wall that divides the human heart into right and left halves. It prevents the mixing of oxygenated, pure blood and deoxygenated, impure blood inside the heart. The tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve are two important valves of the human heart that regulate the flow of blood between the atria and ventricles. The tricuspid valve is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. It has three flaps, cusps, and allows deoxygenated blood to pass from the right atrium into the right ventricle. It prevents the backflow of blood into the right atrium when the right ventricle contracts. The bicuspid valve, also called the mitral valve, is present between the left atrium and the left ventricle. It has two flaps, cusps, and allows oxygenated blood to flow from the left atrium into the left ventricle. It prevents the backflow of blood into the left atrium when the left ventricle contracts. Both valves ensure that blood flows in one direction only inside the heart. The semilunar valves are two important valves present at the openings of the arteries leaving the heart. They are called semilunar because their flaps are half-moon shaped. There are two types of semilunar valves, the pulmonary valve and the aortic valve. The pulmonary valve is present between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. It allows deoxygenated blood to flow from the right ventricle into the pulmonary artery, which carries it to the lungs for oxygenation. It prevents the backflow of blood into the right ventricle. After it contracts, the aortic valve is present between the left ventricle and the aorta. It allows oxygenated blood to flow from the left ventricle into the aorta, which distributes it to the entire body. It prevents the backflow of blood into the left ventricle. Thus, both semilunar valves ensure one-way flow of blood from the heart into the arteries. The pulmonary artery and pulmonary veins are major blood vessels connected with the lungs and play an important role in circulation. The pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated, impure blood from the right ventricle of the heart to the lungs for oxygenation. It is the only artery in the body that carries deoxygenated blood. After the blood gets oxygen in the lungs, it returns to the heart through the pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins carry oxygenated pure blood from the lungs to the left atrium of the heart. They are the only veins in the body that carry oxygenated blood. Thus, the pulmonary artery takes impure blood to the lungs, and the pulmonary veins bring pure blood back to the heart. The aorta is the largest artery in the human body and plays a very important role in circulation. It arises from the left ventricle of the heart and carries oxygenated pure blood to all parts of the body except the lungs. Double circulation is the process in which blood passes through the heart twice during one complete cycle of circulation. In humans, there are two types of circulation: pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. In pulmonary circulation, deoxygenated blood goes from the heart to the lungs to get oxygen and then returns to the heart. In systemic circulation, oxygenated blood goes from the heart to all parts of the body and then comes back to the heart after delivering oxygen. Thus, because blood enters the heart 2 times in one complete round, it is called double circulation. And there you have it, a complete breakdown of the human heart. By understanding how these 4 chambers and various valves work in harmony, you can see how vital this organ is to our daily survival. I hope this explanation helps you master the topic. Thanks for watching.